I get the idea of like, okay, we're going to leverage our CEO, our board members network to book these meetings. I understand that I need to, write a good email, and it's got to kind of match what my CEO or what my investor might say, especially if I'm ghostwriting it for them. What are the key components to a good ghost email? Because I could see myself writing a book because I want to cover all of the points. Yeah. But I'm guessing that is absolutely not what a good ghost email looks like.
No, terrible. Yeah. So, if you're leveraging senior executives, they don't typically write books in emails. They're usually zipping through a whole bunch of stuff as quickly as possible. They're short, to the point. It's probably 3 or 4 sentences, and that's why I would anguish over writing those 3 or 4 sentences, because you're like, you got to convey so much, in such a brief period, or a brief email. And, sometimes it's like 2 sentences. I mean, it can be really, really short. So number one, I think it should be short, as I've said. I've taken a lot of words to explain how short it should be. So yeah, probably use fewer words to describe what you want in your email than I've used to describe how short your email should be. Make it short. That's one. If you, there's some cool tools out there, honestly, that I think could be very helpful in writing this type of thing, which we've used, like Lavender, for example. I don't know if you've ever seen Lavender. Mm-hmm. Lavender is pretty good at just giving you, like, you write something, it's too long, they tell you how to make it shorter, punchier, whatever. I think you can do that as well, and use tools like Lavender to help you squeeze out the excess verbiage. And you also have to know the relationship between the two people. So, like, if I'm writing for Mark Benioff and I want him to send something to John Chambers, you got to know, do they golf together? Are they friendly? Like, what's the nature of their relationship? So you factor that in. You got to know the writing style of the person that you're writing for. So you're not always going to know that. You might not know that person terribly well. Potentially, if you have a larger organization and your team wants to leverage your board, and not everybody in your team is going to know your board members. That's just not how it works. In that situation, as you are scaling up a system that does this, it takes advantage of leveraging your board, your investors, your advisors, your customers, customer champions, et cetera, your partners. What can be really useful is if you've got somebody in your organization that can create the standardized template for that person that says, hey, board member Bob is happy to send, a number of introductions for us, highly targeted introductions for us each month or each quarter. They need to be highly targeted. Let's not waste board member Bob's time. And they need to use this format. Bob is always comfortable sending, this on behalf of us, Acme, one of his portfolio companies. And it's like, 4 sentences that Bob has approved, and that's it. So then come up with that template. And then if you can tee it up for Bob, and Bob's confident that every time he's just getting the same template, then there you go. You're off to the races. What'll often happen then is, just in practice, is that when you ask Bob to send that, board member Bob to send it to the target CEO or CFO or whoever you're trying to get to, then board member Bob will add 1 or 2 sentences like, hey, great to see you at the barbecue last week, or can't wait to, see you at the Giants game next week, or, tell Susie and the kids that I said hello, or, whatever is appropriate based on their personal, relationship. But the core of the message is already teed up. Bob doesn't have to think about it too much. So Bob can either just click send or add the one little extra sentence, and voila, you got a nice introduction.